Are you aware that you are Dustin Hoffman's idol? That's the right way around.
No, I'm not aware of that at all. Michael, I remember when I was at the National, not the last time, but the time before, he came to see something at the Cottesloe we were doing, because it was 3 plays by Harold Pinter, and between... we were each in one of them, and I was in the last one, and just as I got into bed in this last one, a lady I had to be suffering from sleeping sickness for 28 years, I looked sideways, and there was Dustin Hoffman's head just round the corner. It was a tremendous surprise.
Woke you up?
And, yes, it certainly did. Not asleep for quite so long.
This is you and Marks and Spencer, the people he loves best in the world.
That's right.
You've done a very dramatic role reversal recently. You've become a director, haven't you?
Well, I've become a director of one play. Whether I'd do it again, I'm not sure.
Was it something you were eager to do?
No, it was something I hadn't ever even contemplated. But I'd worked with Ken Branagh on Ghosts for the television, and we both behaved very badly, so badly that we were sent out of the studio together for laughing. And then he came to me and said, how would you like to direct a play for my company? And would you like it to be Much Ado? So because neither thing had ever even, you know, I certainly hadn't thought of directing, and I don't think I would have ever chosen a Shakespeare play. And because it was 18 months before I had to do it, I said yes. And then it became a reality.
And you had to be a grown-up.
Then I had to be very, very grown-up and tell them off for laughing.
Were you tough?
Yes, I was quite tough. I amazed myself. He says I was bossy and schoolmarmish. I wasn't any of that. But I have to say that again. But we had a great amount of laughs, and I learnt myself something about being an actress from being a director.
You've done all the classical roles, and you've also done television situation comedy, a fine romance, of course. Did you notice a tremendous difference in the public's reaction to you?
I think I did, Michael, yes. I mean, a lot of people said, was it my first job when I did a fine romance? Because a lot of people who would watch a fine romance wouldn't come to Stratford or the National and see Cymbeline or Twelfth Night, and who would blame them, really? So I was very, very pleased, and it was very rewarding and very refreshing to meet a whole lot of people who didn't know anything about your past, and who were fascinated because they think that Michael and I are exactly like that at home. I mean, they still shout at Michael, "How's your garden business? How's your landscape business?" And that's very nice. I think they still expect us to have that van, too.
You are, of course, a famous couple, you and Michael, and I wondered, wasn't love at first sight, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was good friends, though, at first sight, for 9 years. And then suddenly it was love, like it happens, you know.
And he flew with his last penny to Australia to pop the question, and you said...
And I said, don't ask me now. He had asked me on a rainy day in London. Well, it was he chose a wonderful day. And he also didn't tell me he was coming. And he chose a really glorious day when I had to be in the theatre, and we were going for a picnic. And, you know, Australia is so beautiful, and blue skies and white sand and everything like that. And so it was too perfect. I thought, this won't last when we're, in Soho on a wet day, you know. So I said, you'd better wait, I think.
How very sensible. Did he just say, oh, all right, then?
Yes, I think he did say that. Oh, all right, then, yes, I think he did.
Are you both ultra-romantic people?
Yes, probably, I think. I mean, I think that people who knew us well before we got married said there's not a chance in that. Not a chance of that marriage working. Because I think we are rather, except that he is Cancerian and I'm a Sagittarian, and therefore Michael said it, he is rushing towards the dark and I'm rushing towards the light, and we drag each other back into a kind of Middle Earth.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's true.
But what about when you work together? It's rather like decorating the house, I should think, together. I mean, it's a great strain on the relationship, isn't it?
I think it can be, but we enjoy it a lot. I mean, a lot of people say, how on earth can you manage to be together in the theatre, together in the car going to the theatre and coming home and working together all day? Well, I mean, the first thing is that the first year we were married, it was formed in a way, that thing of being at Stratford and being in nearly every play together, though there were 2 that we weren't in together. And so that, in a way, was the basis of things. And we met each other under kind of working circumstances, so that was very good. And it's very nice to have a shorthand with somebody.
I mean, do you ever say to each other, you were a bit off tonight?
Oh, yes.
On stage,
Yeah, you don't say it on stage. You mean, you're a bit off tonight, not you were a bit off. No, I've never done that. But I'll try.
Yes.
Well, the next go.
No,
You're a bit off tonight. It's a very good line, isn't it?
Now, laughter is very important in your life, obviously. Are you a great practical joker as well?
I am, yes, I am. Well, I recently did an adaptation of a play that's going out in the spring called Behaving Badly on Channel 4, and with Ronnie Pickup. And we were filming it at Ealing, or Elstree. And one day Ronnie wasn't... Ronnie, all the time, I have to be this rather unhappy person who's been divorced for 5 years from him. And he has remarried a rather young and very glamorous lady, Frances Barber. So he had a rather brown makeup on, I noticed, all the time. And I was in an extremely plain wig, dragged around one ear, and no makeup at all. Terrible. And I used to be very, very beady when I saw him being made up like this. And I used to say, you're a little bit browner this time. And then one day, when I got there a bit late, he had false eyelashes on. But I thought, I won't say anything, but I'll just get my own back. And the very next day, he was called later than me. So I moved a mass of long rails full of clothes into his dressing room. And I had a notice printed for his door saying, Ronald Pickup and walk-ons. And I just had a mass of other people's clothes in the room. And I moved all his things into the loo kind of thing, and a bunch of flowers and things. And he got in and was absolutely, totally taken in by it. Raced to the management.
Furious.
Furious. But it was a good payoff.
And can you take it as well?
Yes, I can. Yes. I mean, in Mother Courage, at the last matinee we did, I had to give a drink to 2 soldiers, Paul Clayton and Paul Greenwood, and they had to give me money, which I bit and put in my pocket, and then they said, we want another drink, so I had to give them that. And at the last matinee, when I gave them the drink, and then they gave me an American Express card. So I hardly batted an eyelid. But what they didn't know was that I treated the drink in between the 2 shows. So in the evening, when they actually did have the proper money, what they had in the drink, which they had to throw back, was cider vinegar.
Oh.
And then the glorious thing was that they had to ask me for another.
If only the audience knew.
I love a good joke.
Right.
Gets you through the evening so well.
Yes, might kill the rest of the cast.
Yes,
Talking of that, you hurt yourself when you were preparing for Cats and had to withdraw from the thing, but are you then accident-prone?
Yes, I am a bit accident. I mean, I've fallen over in nearly every play I've ever done. I'm better about it now. So I walk slower on the stage. But I used to run everywhere when I was young. When I first went to the theatre, I used to run on all entrances and exits. Somehow quick to get on and quick to get off, I think. But I have had a lot. I mean, I've carried the furniture off with me. Frank Hawser said, when you come in through the back door, careful you don't lift the entire setup off the stage. I could have done that. Yes, didn't even appear in Cats, because I did my Achilles. Yeah. Fortunately, being thrown off a 15-foot drop in Antony and Cleopatra, I didn't actually hurt myself or do anything.
You've taken Shakespeare to very distant parts. Has it always been appreciated?
Africa, that was very good. West Africa, that was good, because we were the first company to go to Africa in 1963, in spring 1963. And we took the plays that the children were studying, which were Macbeth, Twelfth Night, and Arms and the Man. And I, very unsuitably, I think, because I was extremely young, played Lady Macbeth with John Neville, and it just got a laugh a line. I mean, they just thought it was the funniest thing they've ever seen. So any time you said anything that rhymed, that just brought the house down. And then sometimes they'd shout out, oh, do say that bit again. Or any time he put his arm near me or held me, I mean, that just also brought the house down.
And did you just plough on through it, or did you do reprises as required?
No, you tried hard to keep going. Lagos was the only place we ever had a theatre. And in Lagos, the curtain didn't come down from the side of the theatre, it came down from the back of the theatre. So just as you just as you were hearing that the curtain had to come down for, say, the interval, you had to ring up in the corner to a lovely man who was sitting at the back looking through a little hole and say, Mr. Obey me, curtain down. And all that went wonderfully, except when we came to the first night, Mr. Obey me, curtain down. Mr. Obey me. Mr. Obey me. He's afterwards known as Mr. Disobey me.